Hi guys, I am MD Shahjada Imran. I hope you all are doing excellent. So today I will make a video about virtual object in HP UFT or micro focus UFT. So in this video I will show how we can create virtual object. So virtual object, when we create, if QTP or UFT unable to identify an object using object repository approach or using descriptive programming, then we can create virtual object. So for example, this my flight logo, this logo UFT doesn't identify. Let's examine. I will be using object spy to check the properties and their values of that image or of the logo. So click on object spy. Now if I put the cursor here, this identified, we can see in the object spy that this object's class name is WPF edit. This object's class name is WPF button. But if I go here, it's identified the entire thing as it identified as entire window. See, if I go here, if I put cursor here, it's not identifying this logo. Now I will be creating a virtual object for this logo. Since now another thing, let's record and prove that it doesn't identify. I start recording and I click here. And I stop recording. So how it identified? It identified entire thing as a window, WPF window, the entire thing as a window, and click here based on the X and Y coordination. But that is not virtual object, so I will be creating a virtual object for that image. For that image, my flight, that the plane symbol and this line and this text, the entire thing is an image. So I'll be creating an object, virtual object for this image. Now how we can create that? So I'll be clicking on tools. It says virtual objects. I can use either one, new virtual object or virtual object manager. So I'll be clicking on virtual object manager. This window opens, virtual object manager windows open. There are no virtual objects available at this time, so I'll be clicking new to create a new one. So I clicked on new, and this wizard came up, virtual object wizard. This is the virtual object wizard. So it has 4 steps, so I'll be following. So I'll be clicking on next, and I will be identifying. So there are a few options I can choose. I can create a virtual object, a virtual button, a virtual table, a virtual list, virtual checkbox, virtual radio button. So I will be creating virtual object. So I choose the object here in this drop down list. Then I will be clicking on next. Now I have to mark. So mark object. I click here. Now this is the logo I will be creating virtual object for. So I will be marking this. I mark this one, and the width and height has been added here. Now I will be clicking on next, and it's asking should I take only parent or the entire parent hierarchy? Identify object using. So how this virtual object will be identified, using parent only or entire parent hierarchy? So right now there is only one parent. Sometimes there will be one, two, three levels: parent, child, and then child of that child. And then we can choose this one or this one. So I will be choosing this one. For this particular scenario, both are same because there is only one parent. So now I will be clicking on next. Now I will give a name. So I will give a name. I will say Imran. I just give a name of that virtual object. I just give a name. So the name of the virtual object is Imran. Now I will be leaving this collection. This is the default collection, and I will be choosing no here, so that it's asking if I want to create another one at this time, but I will not be creating another one, so I will be choosing no, and then I will click on the finish button. Okay. So this has been created. This is the collection and this is the virtual object. I have created this virtual object, and that is available in the virtual object manager. Now I click on close. So the virtual object has been created. Now I will be checking again in the manager, virtual object manager. Yes, that is there. So now I showed hands-on how to create virtual object. I showed hands-on how to create virtual object. Now I will be showing how to add an object, that virtual object, into object repository. So now if I go to the object repository, there are few. So I delete everything whatever is there, and so now the the object repository, this par action object repository, the local object repository, is empty, and there is no test objects, and there is no checkpoints or outputs, so nothing is there. The entire local object repository is empty. So how we can add here? Only using recording approach. Only using recording approach we can add here. So I will be recording. Click on record, and since this window is not available, to bring this window I have to press Ctrl key from the keyboard and keep holding it, and then click here, and I will be unpress or remove the finger from the control button from the keyboard. Now I will be clicking here so that it gets recorded. Right now there is nothing recorded. It says recording GUI test 2, and there is nothing here. Once I click here, it should say 1 here. I clicked, and it says 1 here. That means 1 line has been recorded in the editor. So I'll be clicking here to stop record. Now this line has been recorded. This line has been recorded, and it clicked on that button. So I will be highlighting it. Highlight. So I want to highlight because I just added this. That is the virtual object. It says virtual object. Previously, when we didn't add the virtual object in the virtual object manager, we didn't add this one. That time when we record, it recorded like this. But after we added the virtual object in the virtual object manager and clicked on the same spot here, and then this time this showed up, virtual object and the virtual object name. Now if I run it, I will be running only the line number 7. If I run it, it should highlight that object, virtual object. See, it did highlight. It did highlight. Now if I go to the object repository and see if that is over there or not, it is over there. So it is in the local object repository. So how we can add the virtual objects in the local object repository? By recording only. There is no other approach, and that I showed hands-on. And what is the third one? That is, can we create virtual object of any app? No, only supported app. We can create virtual object on apps which are supported by UFT, and the parent must be supported. For example, when we create virtual object, it asks for how it will identify. Let's create an, I'm creating another one, and I choose object here, click here, I choose mark here. Let's say I mark here, somewhere here. I marked here. Now I click on next. It's asking how it will identify the object. To identify the object, it can identify based on the parent only or entire parent hierarchy. So either parent or the entire parent hierarchy must be identified by UFT. Only then when the virtual object can be working. So only if the parent is identified by UFT, then only we can create virtual object under that parent. Click on cancel. So the answer is no. We can create virtual object only for those apps which are supported by UFT, and the parent or the parent hierarchy must be identified by UFT. Then only we can create virtual object. So that's all guys for this video. Thank you.